It's the holiday season and the pressure is on. What type of leader will you be? Today I'm talking about two types of leaders and how you can choose which one you'll be. Welcome back to the Modern Leadership Solutions podcast. Today I'm talking about a question that hits a little differently this time of year. What kind of leader shows up at Christmas? Now, I don't mean which sweater you're wearing or whether you're the person who buys gifts in July or the one sprinting into Walmart at 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve. I'm talking about the leader that shows up when the calendar gets full, when the expectations get high, and the pressure gets real. Because here's the truth. Pressure reveals leadership style faster than any personality test ever could. And the holidays, well, they're basically a leadership MRI. Whatever is happening underneath the hood, well, it's coming to the surface. So, in this episode, I'm exploring how holiday stress exposes our default tendencies, what that means for servant leadership, and how we can show up intentionally in a season that needs thoughtful, grounded leaders more than ever. Okay, now let's start with a quick contrast. When pressure hits, I mean holiday pressure especially, we tend to drift into one of two modes. The first is the self-focused leader. This is the leader who unintentionally makes everything about them, about their convenience, their comfort, their success. Under stress, they tighten up. They communicate less. Their decisions become reactive instead of thoughtful. Sound familiar? This hits a little too close to home. They're not bad people, they're just overwhelmed. But when a leader is self-focused, the people around them feel it immediately. Then there's the intentional leader, the servant leader. This leader prioritizes the success of others over their own. They work to build trust. They share information. They invite dialogue. And they listen, and I mean really listen. They make tough decisions when they're needed, but they do it with clarity and empathy and purpose. A servant leader recognizes that their role is not to shine, but to help others shine. And Christmas is the perfect mirror for that contrast. It naturally asks us, am I leading to serve myself, or am I leading to add value to others? Now let's flip that lens and talk about what pressure reveals in us. Because pressure doesn't create character, it exposes it. When expectations rise and our mental and emotional bandwidth shrinks, several things come to the surface. First, your character. Integrity, honesty, openness. Are we showing up with consistency? Or are we cutting corners because it's the holidays? Character helps us build the relationships we need as leaders. Next, competence. Do we know our stuff well enough to stay calm and steady? Now, people can tell when a leader is confident and competent, and when they're just winging it. This is where a continuous growth habit shows up. Now, third is communication, and this is a big one. Some leaders go silent under stress, and others bark orders. Servant leaders lean into communication instead of away from it. They give clarity when people need it the most. They know how to communicate with their people effectively. Next, we see courage. The holidays have a way of surfacing those decisions we've been avoiding. Servant leaders don't delay hard conversations, but they handle them thoughtfully. And then finally, care. And not the soft, fluffy Hallmark movie kind of care. This is the quiet, steady kind that says, I see you, I appreciate you. I'm here to support you. When stress ramps up, that type of care really stands out. So, here's the good news. Leadership isn't determined by our first reaction. It's determined by our second response. Now, we all get reactive at times, but intentional leaders don't stay reactive. They reset and respond with purpose. So how do you do this? First, be intentional in your communication. Share what others need to know. Invite questions. Practice two-way communication, which we all know is dialogue. Start by listening, always listening. Number 2, be intentional in decisions and action. Making difficult decisions is not unkind. Avoiding them is. People want clarity, especially when energy is low. Number 3, be intentional in how you care for your people. Even a small acknowledgement matters more this time of year. A quick thank you, a moment of presence, a willingness to lighten someone's load. These aren't grand gestures, and they're not for you. They're leadership choices that add value to others. And they all reflect one powerful principle. Servant leaders don't just show up for tasks, they show up for people. Before we close this episode, I want to offer a simple reflection, something you can do right away, or maybe tonight with a cup of cocoa when the house finally gets quiet, if that happens. Ask yourself these questions and really reflect on them. Who was better because they crossed paths with you this year? Who grew? Who gained confidence? Who was encouraged, supported, or lifted up because you intentionally invested in them? And then ask yourself the flip side of that question. Whom do I want to be better because they crossed paths with me this year? That's where intentional leadership begins. Not with strategy, but with purpose. So, as you step into this week of Christmas, remember this. You don't have to be a perfect leader. You just have to be an intentional one. A leader who builds trust, who shares openly, who listens deeply, who makes courageous decisions, and who genuinely cares about the people they lead. Let's be the kind of leaders who give more than we take. Leaders that others are grateful to follow. Lead well, lead with purpose, and I'll see you in the next episode.